So my first attempt in integrating Brettanomyces intentionally into winemaking was with Viognier. And I actually introduced a Brettanomyces culture in a really, really concentrated form at the juice stage, right at the very beginning, before any other kinds of yeast, native yeast, had started the fermentation. And I had hoped, knowing that Brettanomyces really only has a alcohol potential, fermentation potential, somewhere between, I can't remember, I think it's like 8 to 10% or somewhere around there, approximately, that it wasn't going to finish the fermentation, that it would eventually, fade, it would die off. And I'd hoped that there would be a succession, right, where some other form of yeast would then kind of like have the ability to take it on from there and finish the fermentation. And that happened, but it was difficult because I didn't want to ferment the wine inside of the cellar because I was worried about the Brettanomyces getting everywhere in the cellar, and then maybe it starts to become a component of all the wines. And I just was horsing around, anyway. And I tried really hard and I researched it quite a bit, but I wasn't adamant about about making it happen or whatever. I just wanted to see what it would do.
Where were you making it?
I was making it at Johann. And I didn't want to have it in the winery, so I put the barrel outside in the woods. Probably I don't know, I'm thinking about like 400 or 500 yards away. So we just took it out in the truck and just took it way out into the forest near the house, actually, and put it out into this kind of little lull that is there, kind of in the trees, where the barrel would kind of sit in the ground, where we knew it wouldn't roll downhill or kind of go anywhere. It was just kind of this sink.
Like a safety zone.
Yeah, exactly. And we just left it out there, forever. And it had to sit there through the winters, through the summers, through all this stuff, right? And so the extreme weather conditions. I mean, if I had actually done it in a controlled environment with temperature control and all these other kinds of things, I would have been more successful. I still believe that I would have probably ruined it anyway, but I would have gotten a hell of a lot closer and probably learned a lot more, but I'm doing what I can with what I have to work with. And I think that, the wine eventually went dry, basically, but it just wasn't, for me, it wasn't a success because the fermentation ended up taking so long. And because of all the big swings and the weather and everything like that and getting hot and getting cold, the wine actually ended up being surprisingly clean, but I think it had just had too much temperature swing and too much oxygen exposure from all of that. And the wine for me just ended up not being compelling enough to bottle, but it was semi-successful.